Hey warriors, if they play dirty, outsmart them mentally because this world doesn't reward the cleanest heart. It rewards the sharpest mind. Machiavelli never taught people how to be evil. That's the excuse weak thinkers use when they feel uncomfortable with truth. What he actually taught was far more dangerous than evil. He taught awareness. He taught survival. He taught how to stand upright in a room where everyone else is already lying. Look around your life for a moment at work and social circles. You'll notice something strange. The people who manipulate rarely look aggressive. They look calm. They look reasonable. They smile while rearranging the board against you. Machiavelli understood this centuries ago. Power doesn't come from shouting. It comes from positioning, from patience, from knowing how people think when they believe no one is watching them closely. If someone plays dirty with you, it's not because they're stronger than you. It's because they understand something you were never taught. They understand human behavior without the comfort of morality. They know how expectations work. They know how reactions expose weakness. They know how silence creates pressure. And most importantly, they know that good people hesitate. Good people wait. They hope things improve. They expect fairness. They believe intentions matter more than outcomes. Dirty players don't think like that. They don't attack strength. They attack expectations. They wait for you to assume decency. The moment you do, they move. This video is not about becoming cruel. It's not about lying, cheating, or hurting people. It's about understanding the environment you're already in. Because refusing to see the game doesn't remove you from it. It only makes you an easy piece. Machiavelli never promised peace. He promised position. He promised clarity in a world where clarity is rare. He promised that once you understand how power works, you stop being surprised by people's behavior. In the next minutes, you'll learn 10 psychological principles Machiavelli observed long before social media, corporate politics, and modern manipulation. These are not motivational quotes. These are mental tools. Tools that help you stop reacting, stop explaining, and stop bleeding energy to people who don't deserve access to your emotions. If you stay until the end, you won't feel louder. You'll feel calmer, sharper, harder to move. Now I want you to drop this affirmation in the comments. I see the game. Number 1. Why dirty players love good people. Machiavelli noticed something most people never want to accept, because it attacks their self-image before it attacks their logic. The people who get targeted the most are not weak, stupid, or incapable. They are good. They are consistent. They are transparent. They behave the same way in every situation with every person, expecting the same moral standard in return. And that consistency becomes a map for anyone who wants to use them. Dirty players don't hunt power directly. They hunt patterns. They observe who pauses before responding, who gives the benefit of the doubt, who hesitates to disappoint others. They watch who feels uncomfortable with silence, who rushes to clarify intentions, who feels guilty for asserting boundaries. These are not flaws in character, they are signals, and signals invite exploitation. A good person assumes shared values, they assume rules are mutual, they assume fairness is universal. That assumption is the opening. The moment you believe the other side will act the way you would act, you hand them control over timing, tone, and outcome. Dirty players don't need to overpower you. They simply wait for you to self-limit. Machiavelli understood that morality without awareness becomes predictability, and predictability is not virtue in hostile environments. It is exposure. When someone knows exactly how long you'll tolerate disrespect, how much confusion you'll excuse, how many chances you'll give before pushing back, they no longer have to guess. They calculate. This is why dirty players feel comfortable escalating slowly. They test with small violations, a delay, a misrepresentation, a subtle shift of responsibility, and they watch your response. If you stay polite, they advance. If you stay hopeful, they continue. If you explain instead of observing, they adjust their approach. Each reaction teaches them how far they can go without consequence. Good people often believe restraint earns respect. Machiavelli saw the opposite. Restraint without leverage invites pressure. When someone realizes you will always choose harmony over position, they no longer need to negotiate. They only need to wait. The danger is not kindness. The danger is being readable. Dirty players don't fear ethics. They fear uncertainty. They fear people who don't reveal thresholds early. They fear those who don't rush to restore balance. They fear individuals who observe quietly instead of correcting immediately. This is why Machiavelli warned against wearing virtue on the surface. Not because virtue is useless, but because advertising it removes flexibility. When people know exactly who you are at all times, they know exactly how to push you off center. The solution is not cruelty. It is strategic ambiguity. You don't need to change who you are internally. You need to change what you reveal externally. You don't owe consistency to those who haven't earned trust. You don't owe clarity to those collecting information. You don't owe predictability to people who benefit from your hesitation. Once you stop assuming decency, you regain leverage. Once you stop fearing silence, you regain control. Once you stop volunteering your limits, you stop being easy. Drop this affirmation in the comments. I move with awareness. Number 2. The art of controlled weakness. Machiavelli understood that raw force attracts resistance the way heat attracts pressure. When strength is obvious, others adjust. They defend. They prepare. They close ranks. But when power is hidden, people relax. They expose themselves without realizing they're doing it. This is where controlled weakness becomes strategic, not submissive. Dirty players are always scanning for threats. They don't fear aggression as much as they fear unpredictability. Loud dominance is easy to respond to. Silent capability is not. When you present yourself as fully capable, fully confident, and fully aware, others become cautious. They speak less. They give you less. They protect their angles. But when you allow small gaps to be seen, the atmosphere shifts. Controlled weakness is not pretending to be incompetent. It is allowing others to underestimate your awareness, your reach, or your intent. It is choosing when not to correct, when not to challenge, when not to reveal understanding. This restraint creates a false sense of safety. People begin to assume they are ahead. They rush decisions, they over-explain, they show priorities they would normally guard. Machiavelli observed that impatience is a product of perceived advantage. When someone believes you lack options, they stop managing themselves carefully. They talk more freely. They test boundaries faster. They escalate without securing position. The mistake most people make is trying to prove competence too early. They clarify. They justify. They demonstrate intelligence. In doing so, they shut down the flow of information coming toward them. The moment others realize you are tracking everything, they stop revealing. Controlled weakness keeps the channel open. There is power in letting assumptions remain uncorrected. If someone believes you didn't notice a shift, a contradiction, or a tactic, they feel safe repeating it. Patterns emerge. Intent becomes visible. Timing becomes readable. What they think is invisibility is actually exposure. Machiavelli never advised constant strength. He advised selective display. You choose when to assert, when to withdraw, when to appear uncertain. This variation disrupts calculation. Others can't lock onto a stable model of you. Without a model, they hesitate. Controlled weakness also disarms expectation. People anticipate resistance from strength. They don't anticipate patience from capability. When you don't react the way they expect, their script breaks. They start filling gaps. They begin explaining themselves. They offer concessions prematurely. The goal is not to win early. The goal is to collect leverage quietly. Machiavelli understood that the most dangerous person in the room is not the loudest. It is the one whose full capacity remains unknown until it matters. Number 3, why explaining yourself makes you lose. Machiavelli warned against unnecessary honesty not because truth is harmful, but because explanation shifts control away from you. The instant you begin justifying actions, motives, or decisions, you surrender authority over interpretation. What started as clarity becomes an opening. What felt like transparency turns into leverage for the other side. Explanations invite evaluation. Once you explain, others feel entitled to judge whether your reasoning is valid, sufficient, or acceptable. You are no longer acting from position, you are seeking approval. Dirty players don't argue your outcome. They dissect your reasoning. Every explanation creates structure. Structure creates angles. Angles create opportunities. Silence operates differently. Silence offers no surface to attack. It cannot be edited, quoted, or selectively remembered. What remains unsaid cannot be reframed against you. Authority rarely explains itself. It announces decisions. When you act decisively without over-commentary, others adjust around you. Power is preserved not by saying more, but by choosing when silence is stronger. Number 4. Dirty players never attack, they position. Direct confrontation creates resistance, visibility, and risk. Positioning reshapes outcomes without friction. Dirty players place you inside circumstances where any response works against you. You are guided into acting. And once you respond, the environment has already been designed to make you appear reactive. Reputation is rarely destroyed by accusation. It erodes through implication. The strongest response is often restraint. Let context speak. Let patterns reveal themselves. Let silence deny momentum. Drop this affirmation in the comments. I choose position. Number 5. Why fairness is a trap. Fairness feels safe because it offers moral comfort, not because it guarantees balance. Fairness only works inside shared agreement. Outside of that, it becomes a vulnerability. Dirty players calculate advantage while you calculate ethics. The mismatch decides the outcome. Justice without enforcement is symbolic. Dirty players respect cost, not ideals. Power recognizes outcome, not intention. Number 6. The psychology of delayed response. Dirty players rely on urgency. Delay disrupts expectation. Silence creates uncertainty. Uncertainty creates pressure. Those who rush leak information. Those who wait gather it. Delayed response is not avoidance. It is control over pace. Drop this affirmation in the comments. I control the pace. Number 7. Why they try to confuse your identity. Control becomes effortless once someone loses internal certainty. Identity confusion creates hesitation. Hesitation creates access. The defense is internal anchoring. Identity must be defined privately, not socially. Clarity is not loud, it is steady. Number 8. The most underrated weapon, inconsistency. Predictability creates leverage. Controlled inconsistency destroys it. Irregularity creates hesitation. Hesitation returns control. Drop this affirmation in the comments. I am unpredictable. Number 9. Why walking away creates fear. Disengagement removes reinforcement. Without reaction, influence collapses. Walking away communicates autonomy. Silence creates uncertainty. Uncertainty breeds caution. Sometimes power doesn't argue, it exits. Number 10. The final Machiavellian truth. Machiavelli never promised harmony, he promised position. True power is not confrontation, it is cost. When access becomes expensive, manipulation stops. Power is quiet alignment. It adjusts environments instead of reacting within them. You don't win by fighting dirty. You win by becoming untouchable. If this video helped you see the game more clearly, like it, share it with someone who needs awareness, and subscribe for deeper lessons on power, psychology, and control. Stay sharp, stay aware, and never play a game you don't understand.